I would say just from the stuff on my end, it's more like the hardest part is the problem solving
Yep.
because you're just constantly being like, okay, how do I take these parts and even these aftermarket parts that aren't designed to do this thing, and
Do
how
what
do
I
I
want
get
it to,
them to
yep.
do this thing? You
How
know?
do
That's
I
it.
That's just
how
constant.
do I complete this vision that I have for this car and execute it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you got to be
I'm
down
gonna-
for the trial and error, like over and over and over again.
It's stressful and it's gonna hurt your brain.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back.
This is the Late Night Motor Club.
The only podcast you care about. I am Alex.
I'm Steven.
And I'm Tyler. I hit my nose on the microphone.
Nice.
Yeah. Let's zoom in on that one.
Welcome back, everybody. Today's episode, the last three, if you didn't see, were a little bit of a background on Steven, Tyler, and I. And this week's episode, because we couldn't fit it in the other ones, we're going to do the Q&A questions that we asked on our Instagrams.
Social medias. So if you guys are not following any of the three of us on Instagram, TikTok, anything actually, links will be in the description and on the screen. Our ads will be on the screen. If you're not watching this and you're listening to this,
You missed out, because occasionally we post stuff, and you might be included on here.
Right.
If you wanted to be included on here, you know,
That
missed your
sucks.
shot. But
Yeah.
next time.
next
Time.
time. Actually, now we currently are offering video on Spotify, so you may be watching this as well.
Yeah, we might be on your dash distracting you while driving, and yeah,
If you crash, it's not our fault.
get out of the toll road, dude. You know you're not supposed to be in there. What are you doing? Anyways, how do you guys want to start the questions here?
Let's dive right into the
Wanna just-
juiciest topic. Somebody pick the juiciest question that they have.
So from the polls we asked online on Instagram, we're gonna just pick some and then go like rapid fire.
Round robin.
Try to just go back to back, keep it fast paced, a little bit more fast paced than the last 3 episodes. You know.
And we're not in the hot seat this time. I mean, kind of.
Well,
but
yeah, no, we're still in the hot seat, but we're switching. We're switching hot seats.
Yeah.
So, Alex,
Yeah. You want me to pick the first one?
let's go.
Okay. What are your guys' favorite wheels? I'm not going first. Tyler, go.
This
Give
is
me
a,
the top 3.
okay. Top 3 for me.
This might be too fast paced. I'm already running out of breath.
Yeah.
Let's slow it down.
Weds, LXZs,
Damn, that's my first one.
work, Miester, SP1s,
Okay.
and then my third one is gonna have to be, it's a twist spoke, a knockoff, not a knockoff, but you know what I'm talking about. Center lock. There you
There
go.
we go.
Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
Okay.
There's center lock twist spoke, and it's from a company called, I don't know, Top 2.
Okay. Steven, go. Let me guess. Euro stuff.
I love my Rotiform YVRs.
Oof.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then I would guess I like the Enki NTO1s, which have a similar design. I love TEs. I don't know.
TEs are just goated.
Yeah.
Goated.
All these wheels, I can foresee people would comment and be like, all the wheels you guys picked is played out.
Bro, I like BBS RSs.
They're
wheels,
sick.
you know why wheels are played out? Because they're so good that everybody wants them and then everybody gets them. They're just
Right.
sick eternally. So,
Yeah.
you know.
Don't disrespect
Oh.
what looks good.
Dude,
It
speaking,
looks good.
I'm gonna go back to my third one, and I'm not gonna do the center lock because I can't remember what the name of them are, but I'm gonna go to a Rotiform, and it is a cult classic for me at least, and it is a Rotiform BLQ. And
Oh,
it's,
yeah,
The BL. Yep.
Those are cool.
those are, I love them.
like 'em.
The concave ones too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Long time favorite.
You already know what I'm going to say. What do you think my number one favorite wheel is? The one that I just bought. I set my second set of 326 Power Yappa King spokes. Yeah, they're just sick. And if you don't think so, you're not sick. Obviously, LXZs had those on the Genesis. I love all weds, so like Bazreyas.
Yeah. Let's-
What's another one that's like out of the box that I can think of?
That's so hard off the top.
I only like brands that have like deep history. So, and plus VIP modular.
and plus VIP lunch.
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. I'm blanking.
Let's just go on to the next question.
Next question.
Yeah.
Okay.
Next question. Speed. I'll say one. Why cars? What was the reason that you do car stuff now? And we'll cut this and go into the next one. Are we gonna be saying the username with each question?
Yeah, we can. Let me shout that guy out. Yeah.
we'll carry on.
Isn't that what we just talked about in the beginning?
Yeah.
That was from 1uz.ghost. Appreciate you.
Nice.
Appreciate you.
So
Alright, what's this next one?
Next question. Why cars? What was the reason that you do car stuff now? And that was by Mastermind000.
Well, Mastermind.
That could have a very long answer and a very short
short
answer.
answer,
So
right.
I'm gonna give you the short.
Speed. Let's go.
Okay. Like I said, we gotta slow it down. I'm running out of breath already. I would say my dad owning a body shop definitely played a huge part in that, but definitely again, early video games like Need for Speed and Hot Wheels, and I don't know, seeing people around my city when I was little being like, "That's such a cool car. I know nothing about it. I want to do that
Yeah.
one day."
I would,
Yeah.
I
That
would
type
say
of
the
stuff.
same thing. Hot Wheels, Need for Speed. My dad having his kind of like his Audis and stuff like that. Me being around that and being influenced by that and just wanting the love for cars and getting into it. So
Yeah.
kind of same thing.
Yeah, mine I would have to equate definitely to the Need for Speed, the whole car video game thing. I was heavily into that, but I would also have to attribute a lot of my influence into getting into the cars as my friends group in high school, and that just seeing like my neighbor growing up since I was 4 getting the G35 and just slamming it to the ground. That was just like
Yeah.
mind
Oh
blowing.
yeah, my next door neighbor.
Yeah.
Their cars. Growing up, before I got my cars, always seeing them modded Volkswagens.
Yeah.
My best friend's older brother had Mark I Rabbit slam static to the ground, always busting his oil pan. So I
Yeah.
saw that on a daily.
You guys
And
have
then also
cool
my
neighbors.
best friend,
Yeah.
him growing up, he had a Mark II Jetta slammed static as well. So it's like right across the street. I grew up, and that's what influenced like me wanting to mod Volkswagens too. So
Damn.
yeah,
Yeah.
forgot about that.
You know what my neighbors did?
What?
Heroin.
Nice.
Honestly.
Dude,
Anyway,
I also
no
hold
cool
on. I
cars.
also grew up very close to the Fontana Speedway. Shout out everybody in Fontucky.
Inland
That's what-
boys.
Kentucky.
That's what
I like that.
that's what I refer to it as. But yeah, I think that had a little bit of influence into my love for cars.
Cool. Next,
Next question.
you're up.
Yep.
Oh,
That's
that's yeah. All right. So let's scroll through all these questions. Okay, here's a good one that I kind of like because I feel like it plays on my feels right now. This one is by I'm gonna butcher this guy's name because it's Jose Ochoa, I believe.
Sure.
Sure.
I can't see it, so we're gonna go with that.
Did you ever feel like giving up on any of your I can't even read. Did you ever feel like giving up on any of your builds? If so, what did you do to keep going? So I like this question because I feel like that all the time. It feels super discouraging when you get way head over, like way above your head in a project, right? And then you realize like you're deep in it. The entire car is apart. It's not going to be running for a very long time. And now you're looking at a very expensive paperweight.
Mm-hmm.
The best advice that I have is to just keep going. I find it when I stop, I lose a lot of motivation and it's hard to get that train going again. So you got to steamroll through the low points and just keep your head up, keep pushing and pushing and pushing. Eventually, you can look back and say, I've made all this progress. You get hyped on all this progress and how far it's come, and that becomes my motivation for look at all these things that I've already done.
Okay, that makes sense.
My thing with it were figure out how to enjoy the journey,
Yeah.
the process. If you could figure out how to enjoy the process, not just focus, like hyper focus on the end result. If you focus on the journey and the process and you fall in love with the process, that's what it's all about. Like if you don't enjoy the
Yeah.
process or the journey to get you to the final result's not going to give you that fulfillment. You got to love the whole thing. You got to
Yeah.
love putting in the work to get you to the point of the final product too.
Yeah, the process of doing it all is my favorite part. Even though if you saw me while I'm doing it, I would probably tear your head off if you look at me
Right.
the wrong way. So it's a love-hate relationship, but definitely keeping it motivated to the extent where it's like, in my case, every time has been like, this is my only vehicle. Motivation is I gotta have a vehicle. So whatever it takes, gotta get it done.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much that in short.
Which is highly advised against. Don't build your only car. We've all done it.
Do it, dude. Ruin your whole life. Just don't blame us. You know?
Well, actually, it will give you motivation to finish it, because if you don't, you'll have them fresh Chevrolets.
You get
Oh my
fired.
gosh. Okay, next.
All right. Are you guys coming to GAT? No, sorry. Anyways, next. How do you feel about S2000s? Random question.
They're clapped. I'm just kidding.
I like S2000s.
I love them to death.
Yeah,
Okay.
I love S2000s.
They're like
but-
one of the one Hondas
Yeah.
I would actually
Yeah.
get.
Oh,
Yeah.
for sure.
Okay.
Oh, bro, EFs. No.
Okay.
Shut up.
Another question.
No
Let's go.
respect. You
Do-
go. I
do
just
another
said-
one.
Oh, okay. Underrated build / platforms. Obviously, I gotta say LC500 because I think it's underrated, but it's also kind of priced to a point where is it overrated or is it people just don't want to spend the money on that?
Most
I think it
underrated build, Pontiac Aztecs.
Really?
Yes.
Wild.
Shout out Walter
Wild.
White.
Shout out Walter White.
Yeah.
Most
And my middle school basketball coach.
most underrated build. That's a hard one. A Miata? I'm just
Shut
kidding.
up.
No, what?
I am leaving the podcast forever. I'll see you guys later.
Okay.
Next question.
Here's one question. If you have zero car knowledge, where should you begin? Engine work, body work, wiring. And that was sent in by mock_6IIL. I can't even pronounce it, but yeah.
You should definitely start in motor work
Oh,
and
wait.
wiring because it's the easiest place to learn.
Again, I forgot.
What?
I'm just kidding. Don't do that.
I forgot the names again.
Oh my god.
Shout 'em out. Go
What
back.
was- Night Fury, Brandon, love you, thank you. And what was the other one I asked? Underrated. Oh, R60.JCW.
Shout out.
Yeah.
Shout out.
Yeah. Engine work and wire. That's definitely tough. I feel like a lot of people start off with engine work because it's
I
like
was just kidding. You should not do that.
well, I feel like a lot of people do start off with engine work where it's like they're just wrenching with their dad or something like that.
Oh,
where
yeah.
like they're before driving or anything like that. Like I started off with body work.
That's probably I think because I guess you could say start off with the body work as well, and I find that much easier to get into because when you ruin it, your car just looks shitty.
Embarrassing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Instead of like blowing
not
up a
working,
blowing
right.
up a motor.
No, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is this like saying what the first mods to start with, or like just in general? Where do I start?
In general.
Internet.
the internet.
Yeah.
Definitely
It's a great
internet
place.
actually. Yeah.
Get Googling.
If you have zero knowledge, that's what the question has. If you have zero knowledge, study, research, just look up, get
Yeah.
familiar with a bunch of stuff. Just
Learn
educate yourself
learn
before
the
jumping
history.
in.
Right.
Yeah.
The history is so important.
Yeah.
It seems like it wouldn't be, but it if
Like-
you grasp that, you'll
Yeah.
have like
Just
a way better
Little things
understanding.
where it's like if you don't know how an engine works, look up exactly how an engine works, how fueling, spark, like all that comes in line. Just the basics. Just learn the basics.
Yeah.
So
Straight up, yeah. Don't be embarrassed to
Cars
like,
101.
Google, be
Yeah.
like, what does gas actually do?
seriously, but
Yeah.
it's cool
It's how you
topics to
learn it.
learn.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, straight up. Next one, Tyler.
Tyler.
Okay.
Speed.
Speed. Okay. Oh, this question I like a lot. Shout out Premium Christian. He asked a lot of good questions. He asked me like 30 questions, so I may give him
yeah.
a bunch of them.
Yep.
He said, how has your approach to sponsors changed versus when you started? Like now
Ooh.
from versus when you started.
Okay.
So I find this to be a great question for me in particular because when I first started doing YouTube, hopping online, doing all this stuff, I put out a lot of sponsorship applications, requests, and believe it or not, I had a lot of people who like offered to give me stuff that I wasn't even asking for. And you know what I was at that time? Like a sponge. I said I accepted everything. I just you want to give me parts? I will slap it on. I'll do anything, and I was like anybody's spokesman. Now I'm not even remotely close to that. People hit me, and I'm like, negative ghostwriter. I'm going to do what I want because then at the end of the day, the build, I want it to be reflective of like what I want to do, not a reflection of what somebody wants to sell.
Yeah, exactly.
I agree with
Got to
that.
stand behind
Yeah.
the quality parts.
Yeah.
Growing like being new into modding cars and stuff like that when I was that age, I like tried getting as much freebies as possible, like doing that
We've
route.
been
And
there.
like I'm embarrassed of myself for that, but I learned from it. But now, fast forward, looking back to how I was handling things in terms of like asking for sponsorships, this and that, when it's like I didn't really have a build. I had bags and wheels, and I was asking for like full sponsorships, and
Yeah.
I look back and I'm just
Mhm.
like, dude, what was I doing?
The biggest piece of advice, just to break it down into a simple form, I think, is that if you want to reach out to sponsors, if you want to reach out to companies and all that, the car should be done first. Like, you think it's backwards because, like,
I don't know.
either done first or have a extensive
plan.
history
Well, not
on
just
what you've
a
done.
build plan. You have a render
build
made.
plan,
You have
yeah.
a build sheet of what you're going to do, how you're going to execute, and then you show a history of what you've done in the past that will pretty much give credibility
Exactly.
to
Yeah.
that
what
build.
you have.
If you have no history of a build, no credibility of like,
You can't just be like, I promise I'm going
because
to do this.
you have to think the reason why companies accept or decline your sponsorship request is liability. What are you going to do for them? A
Yeah.
sponsorship is not a one-way street. They're not just giving you parts to give you parts. The reason for a sponsorship is these companies want to give you something, and of course they're going to want something in return, and that's marketing to push their product so they can
Yeah.
sell more.
The-
If you can't do that to them,
Yeah.
they're not going to give you anything.
Yeah. straight up.
Pro tip, I'll be short and sweet on this. As a company, the biggest thing that they're going to be looking on, like Steven said, is ROI, their return on investment. And more often than not, they're going to get more out of you than you're going to get out of them.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind. Always, when approaching a brand, when you want to work with them, what can you offer them? Not just based off of your previous history, but why it makes sense to work with you and not the other way around.
Yeah.
And I'm down to do a future episode talking about sponsorships
Sponsorships,
as a topic and like past experiences with dealing with companies and
Right.
what to look out for, what to learn, rookie mistakes that we've all made earlier on.
And the best way that we found to go about doing business and getting sponsorships and working with brands, especially brands that you like and that you know.
Yeah. That was a good question. Shout out Christian.
Shout out
Shout
Christian.
out 326 Power. Okay, next. I'm contractually obligated. No.
So here's a good one. It was sent in by my little brother, Nadosky17. Does working in the automotive industry ruin or drain your energy for cars as a hobby?
I think we all feel differently about this.
I
so
think this is true.
Steven,
yeah.
go ahead.
I'll start. Yes and no. It has for me, being with throughout the years with automotive shops and whatnot, where working for somebody else in the shop kind of side of things, definitely has, just being around cars all day, not necessarily doing or working on my personal things. So yes, it has in ways drained me when I was in that, to where I wasn't doing what I wanted to do with my cars, because I'm very creator driven, where it's like I want to create things for myself and ultimately create a path for myself. So it's like doing that kind of drained me, to where when I come home, I was so just drained, where I didn't really want to work on my stuff most of the time too. So
Yeah.
it's finding a balance. If you could find a balance to things, to where you could work in the automotive industry hands down, and it pretty much pushes your personal career in the automotive industry as well. It's just how you find the balance of things, and how you set up your formula of your work and everything you're doing properly.
Yeah, see, I have a little bit different experience because, and I'll kind of relate it to why I think you have your viewpoint and I have mine. So I worked for America's Tire for about 4 years, and I was around cars every single day in, day out, always had a filled line. And the thing that was, for me, it never kind of deterred me from working with cars. I just kind of had an understanding, this is what I do for work. When I went home, I got to do work on my own projects. But the difference, I think, is where Steven works in like a shop that focuses on custom work and custom builds. You're using your creativity that could be used on your builds on somebody else, and that idea, in the sense, kind of gets used.
That's a good point.
And you're
Burn
like
out way faster.
you're burning out way faster. Not only that, you feel kind of repetitive. You're like, I already did this on some other build. How can I make mine unique? Whereas all of my ideas were kind of selfishly harvest for myself, because I was just doing service work for people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm not going out of the box.
Yeah.
I would say like all the the cars are the only thing I enjoy in my entire life. So every job I've ever had has been somewhat car related, just because I like being around it. That's what I'm familiar with. Whatever. Whether it's valet or car washes or all that kind of stuff. So because of that, I still got that feeling of like, technically, I'm still around cars, like still enjoy it, get to drive stuff, blah, 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 whatever, without getting exhausted from like working on the car or being at like a mechanic shop or something of that nature. I would see that getting like crazy draining if
Yeah.
you're doing that all day and then you're coming home and like still trying to work on your own shit. And yeah.
Well, there's also the saying where it's like the mechanic's car is always the car that's not in the best shape.
Yeah, it's never
right?
done.
Yeah. Just because
'Cause he
the
doesn't have
mechanic's
time,
not going
right?
to go home and work on and fix their own stuff when they've just been fixing other people's stuff
Yeah.
all day. So,
Go home, crack a Rona, and that's about
ooh,
Ooh,
all right.
great crash.
Next.
Great Crashton.
All
That's
right.
what I said.
it.
Nice.
We doing mine?
Yep.
Okay. What? So again, this is another long answer, short answer,
who's-
but we're gonna
who's it
do the
from?
short answer.
Who's it
Short.
from?
It is from TXF Tree 50. Y'all got to get some better names, dog. What drives you to build the cars the way you do? Goes for everyone. Love the content. Gracias. Thank you. So I would just say in the shortest way I could think of it, what inspired me to build the cars the way I wanted was West Coast car scene. Like if I break it down to its tiniest part, it would be that from the stuff I saw on Stance Nation super early, forum stuff, and all kinds of that. You know, I'd rather just drive a car cruising than
Yeah.
be some race car boy type of thing, but that's just me.
General influence is kind of just the West Coast car scene, just seeing all the other builds out there, but then also seeing all the other builds out there and thinking, how can I be different? How can I set my style apart from everybody else because I want to make a name for my style, not trying to mimic somebody
Interesting.
else's style.
I kind of almost followed people's styles that I really looked up to, and then I think
That's when you started developing your own.
yeah,
Right.
but almost like on accident.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
I was just like, I'll do these things in this style that I'm trying to emulate, and I'll just get the parts that I want to fit into that style, and then in the course of that, you end up making your own style.
Right.
Yeah.
I think my style kind of formulated by a whole bunch of different people that I was hanging around. Like I said, in high school, I had friends that were in the Euro scene. My neighbor was into super JDM scene, and then me at the time, I had a muscle car, so I was kind of took from all of these scenes and just mashed all the things that I liked and put them together, kind of like what you're saying, Alex. But I think the thing that inspires me the most is to just be an individual and have mine unpathologically be my car. When it goes down the road, people are like, that's Tyler's. And I think if you guys know me whatsoever, and the entirety of my life, I've always customized things. My Xbox, my phone, my controller.
No, I was the same way, dude. I used to buy like RC cars
Yeah.
and be like, I gotta just lower it somehow.
Yeah, customize that. I used to, every binder that I had in school had to have a different graphic on it, like drawn or stickers or something. I could never leave it the same because I needed to know that one's mine.
Shout out to my dad buying me a die-cast model of a STI that had like a button that you could turn on interior lights in the
Oh, sick.
inside.
Oh, damn.
And I took it apart and repurposed it for underglow. And I was like,
What?
so sick, bro.
Nice.
Yeah, that's more of GameCube style stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Next one.
Next
Fire it off.
This was sent in by _TMWYT Thomas. What are your thoughts on reps?
Ooh. Don't buy them.
We could go into a whole episode on this, which I think we will.
Which we will. So we won't answer this yet. Just stay tuned on it.
Just know they're trash.
Stay tuned or stay clear.
I'll follow up with another one. This was sent in by MC Cade. Hardest part of building a car you love, which is the first part. So let's answer that one. Hardest part of building a car you love.
Interesting.
I'll start off by saying the hardest part is just the grueling hours to get to that final result, which I
Right.
love and you need to love, but that it is a hard part. It's just the grueling hours and hours and hours where it's like sometimes you don't see any progress.
Yeah.
You're putting in hours and hours and hours of work without progress. You just have to keep going.
Yeah.
And I want to kind of maybe look at this question a little bit differently. I think could be referring to it as how do you build a car that you love in the sense of like a stock form, like something that you loved already. You know, like some people love Subarus, some people love Porsches, Volkswagens.
Mhm.
How do you get the courage to like build that one thing?
Oh.
That's kind of like
That's a cool view.
a weird way to like look at it. And I kind of find like when I look at cars, I find the inspiration and the reason that I love them is because of the idea that of what I'm going to do to them.
Mm-hmm.
I typically don't like cars plain.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Very few exceptions.
Yeah.
I've never had a car that I haven't kind of modified yet or put my own style onto.
Dude, this is how bad of a problem I have. Is when I would drive the Porsche when I just bought it, when it was bone stock, I felt embarrassed.
Oh, dude, I know
Yeah.
that feeling.
Where I was just
I
like,
know that feeling.
ooh,
Yeah.
it's got nothing done to it.
That's even how I feel when the car's not like 100% done.
Yeah.
I'm driving around like,
Yeah.
there's probably someone being like, why does that look like that? I'm like, it's not
Exactly.
done yet.
Yeah.
But what was it? It was like, what's the
Hardest part of building a car you love?
I would say just from the stuff on my end, it's more like the hardest part is the problem solving.
Yep.
Because you're just constantly being like, okay, how do I take these parts and even these aftermarket parts that aren't designed to do this thing, and
Do
how
what
do
I
I
want
get
to,
them to
yeah.
do this thing? You
How
know?
do
That's
I
a-
That's just
how
constant.
do I complete this vision that I have for this car and execute it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you got to
I'm
be
gonna-
down for the trial and error, like over and over and over again.
It's stressful and it's gonna hurt your brain.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I fully support that. I think
For
that was
sure.
great. Yeah.
You're gonna get frustrated and yell at everybody around you.
So second part of what he asked was, what's your favorite thing about the current car culture? So
I like the availability of knowledge and the people willing to share. I think is much more than when I started, so that's what I'm appreciative. I still feel like maybe people think that there's gatekeeping, but I think it's a little bit harder to be that way today because there's so much information. So I think I like how public everything is.
Okay. Yeah.
I like it as like social media is a blessing and a curse. It's a blessing because it's brought a lot of people together where it's like
The three of us?
I wouldn't have met these two guys without social media. So it's something where social media as an aspect with this current culture, it's done well to where it's brought people together for the good. There's the curse side of things, which I won't go into, but in terms of my favorite part, it has to be the genuine connection that people being brought together in this car culture.
This is so interesting because I didn't expect us to have the same answer, but I'm also, I
Same-
would say,
yeah.
like the social media aspect in the realm of like, because of it, this is like the biggest time ever for all this stuff. We're seeing the
Yeah.
most ever that's happened, the most diversity in things that are
Mhm.
happening, like new cars, even the like actual car brands like Toyota and all that stuff are like recognizing that
Yeah.
we out here.
Yeah,
Like,
we out
and-
here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they're like, oh, there's markets for this,
For this
stuff now,
stuff.
all because of the spread with social media and all that.
And you know, it's cool, and we'll kind of talk about that a little bit, is for me, it was humongous on Instagram to meet all these new people, and TikTok, I feel like more recently I kind of jumped into the TikTok thing, like starting to try and do it a tiny bit, and the amount of people that I'm reaching on here is drastically different, and I'm getting the kind of same support, and it's all new people. So like your
Yeah.
reach goes
Yeah.
everywhere, and it's crazy, and it's cool to see all these people.
Yeah, that's what I love about TikTok. Is it literally just like shows you the rest of the world, where I feel like
Yeah.
every other social media platform shows you
It's
what you
limited.
already know.
Yeah.
You know.
So here's another one.
Moving on.
Moving on.
Moving on.
Here's another one. Mark6_Tony, and this one is directed to Alex.
Oh no.
So Tony is a
Hey, Tony.
Lexus tech,
Oh,
and he's wondering if Lexus has reached out to you regarding your LC build yet.
they did. I did get a text message, and they said your car is scheduled for maintenance soon. We'd love if you'd come in and take us a visit.
What do you mean they didn't say it's looking saucy AF?
No, I highly doubt any of them would ever reach out to me. I don't think that's gonna happen.
They said you took one of our nicest cars and ruined it.
I made it better, bro. It's a cruiser, and I built it to cruise.
Okay, go.
All right. What are your thoughts on Big Camber, 15 degrees or more? This is from Scraped with an 8.
Scrapes with an 8 because it's great.
It's cool. I enjoy it on other people's builds, but once it gets past kind of that 15-degree point,
It's
Mhm.
insane.
yeah, it's
Don't get me wrong.
it's not fun driving the
Yeah.
car, in my opinion.
I like looking at it, and I love seeing the Japanese culture cars where they literally cut out the wheel wells
Oh, yeah.
and they cut out parts of the door jamb, and they have the wheel just bouncing up and down right in between the door jamb.
I love
And it's-
watching it and appreciating it.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I like watching it, but that's about it.
That's where we differ. I love it. No, I definitely think it depends on like the chassis and stuff. Like if you were to run like -15 on something like a Golf or a GTI, in my opinion, I don't think camber should really pass like the A-pillar angle, and then on like stuff like hatchbacks, like
Oh, I get you. I get you.
Yeah,
can't
hatchback.
do
yeah.
as much. But stuff like my car, where like the edge of the car really is at like a, I don't know, like 30-degree angle, so you can really do whatever.
Well, at
So
that
that's
point,
crazy,
like
yeah.
camber, like the camber on your LC, it doesn't look like there's much because it's just
Yeah.
the body shape. Versus
Right.
like if
Yeah.
you had how much you're running on yours on like a stock body Golf,
Yeah, that's
it
what
would-
like
it would
stock
look-
body.
yeah, it would look like
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, that's
because-
why I think it works with like the big Oni Bipu style like VIP stuff.
Because the cars are more rounded.
Yeah, the car's more rounded, and I don't know, it's just way sicker.
No, but
Straight
that's
up.
funny. I've
Yeah.
actually never thought of it that way as to why I don't like the way that it looks, and it's solely because of
It's depending on what
the
car.
shape of the
Yeah.
car. Yeah. So when
Yeah.
the wheels are like this and the side of the car sits like this, it doesn't look that great.
Have you seen them put like -10 on like a K car van?
Yeah,
It
and
looks
they just
so stupid.
and it looks like a hover car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. So it depends on the car and all that. There's definitely, I've seen cars that have like -20, and I'm like, that's insane. And I've also, like, in a good way, and I've also seen cars with like -10, and I'm like, that looks awful. So
Yeah.
really depends.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Tyler.
This one comes from I am Chris. Here's a good question for me and Steven. What to know before committing to a wide body?
You just gotta send it.
You gotta send
You
it.
just gotta send it. Well, what to know? You got to do it right. Don't
Yeah.
just hack up your quarter panels and not seal them back up, weld them back up. Do it the right way. If you're going the wide body route, do the research, do it right, because you're cutting up your car. And if you're cutting up especially a little more of an expensive car, do it right.
Yeah. And you labeled it here yourself. Before committing, you have to understand you're going to commit. And it is a commitment because once you do it,
That's it.
there's no going
Yeah.
back. There is, but it's a lot more difficult than.
Yeah. But yeah, there's that.
Keep me out of this one.
Next question. This one is sent in by Brian Too Dope. How to start up a brand and how to grab people's attention to buy.
Okay. You want to know how to start the brand? You just got to do it, dude. That's
Yep.
it. Don't,
Just do
don't,
it.
Don't sit on the back burner for like 3 months. Be like, well, it's not the perfect time. I don't have the perfect thing. I don't blah, blah. Do
Right.
it. Just shut up
Do
and do it.
Yep.
That's
Yeah.
pretty much
Yep.
it. Do
Yep.
it.
Yeah.
You'll learn along the way.
What was the second after that?
How to grab people's attention to buy.
Oh,
I said,
stay genuine to your own unique style, and that was the DJ. I can't remember.
Oh.
Stay genuine to your own unique style. Keep producing what you want to put out, and if it's good, people will gravitate towards it. If it's not,
Sorry.
just
Yeah.
people aren't gonna like it. Sorry.
Keep
think
going. Yeah.
My input to it, starting up a brand, figure out what you want and then just do it. Exactly like how Alex said, you just got to do it. Figure out what you want. Figure out a name, this
Oh
and
yeah,
that. But
definitely
but
take your
don't
time.
But hold on. I think
don't dwell on things and overthink it
Yeah.
too much, because then you're just going to get further and further away from
Mhm.
your original creative mind to want to start it.
you're even assuming that they're there. I think by asking the question is how do you get people to to sell? The intention there already is to make money. Do what you like first. Find out what you like. Ask
Oh, yeah.
yourself.
Yeah.
Make what
Yeah.
you want.
If,
And
if you're doing it solely for the reason to make money
This is
initially,
right.
not
no.
for you.
like
Yeah.
you could do it and it could be a revenue generator, yes, but if you're solely doing it for money, then you might not make it far.
Figure out what you like first. Be passionate about it. Passion always sells.
The most fun you're gonna have with a brand is when you're selling like 5 things, and you're like,
Oh,
because
so sick.
you're like, oh,
Yeah.
I can do whatever. I'm trying to find the style. Once you start, like, if you're not enjoying that part, once you get like actual sales, you're gonna hate it because it's way more work. You think you're like, oh, because I'm be making money, it would be so much better. It's like, no, the fun time is when you're in the beginning and like trying to figure it out. So really focus on like
I feel that.
figuring out if
I
you
definitely
enjoy it
feel
or
that.
not. Yeah.
Yep, I definitely feel
Yeah.
that.
I love selling TFH stickers, and I had like 3 orders, and then when it was 2,000, I was like, oh, maybe this kind of sucks.
Yeah.
In a good way, you know what I mean. Anyways, next one.
I'll do another one.
Okay.
This is by I'm just gonna spell it out. He1ATI. I know who you are. I just can't pronounce it. Do you think you will ever be truly satisfied with your build? So we could all iterate on this one. Yes and no. Like, I wouldn't say truly satisfied because it's like, yeah, never gonna be content with.
Never content, bro.
Shout out.
Never gonna be content with it per se. It's thriving to your vision, of course, but there's always gonna be things that your mind is gonna think of, like, oh, I could do this better, or I could add this, or your style's always gonna be evolving.
You're right.
So it's like 3 months later, you might be like, oh, I want to change this now. So you're never gonna be truly satisfied.
Yeah. It's a car, literally, no matter who you are, no matter what you do, it is never done. Whether that's because you want more or things are going to break and you have to do more.
Right. For me, my mind moves a million miles an hour, and I'm constantly thinking of new things, not just because I'm not content, because I'm excited. And I'm like, oh, I can do this. Or my skill set grows, and now I'm excited to dive myself deeper into trying to do this. And I'm just always on the next thing.
Yeah.
Just trying to do something else. And so I think that's why it never ends for me, because I'm just constantly trying to innovate.
I will say I've had a weird change in perspective a little bit now owning the LC, because this is like the first car I've ever owned where I genuinely am like, I want to keep this long term. Like, I don't plan on selling it, honestly, ever. And I have like multiple different versions of it that I want to achieve. So I know that that's a rabbit hole, but it's going to happen. Like,
Sounds like
it's there's always going to be a thing where I'm like, what if I did this? That'd be fun. Like, and then I don't know.
Yeah.
The what if this would be fun.
Guys want another one? Quick one?
Yeah, quick
Go
one.
for it.
Quick one. This is by Maroon. What was your first car and how did you get it?
Oh, I was just about to ask the same thing.
Hey,
Sweet.
okay.
Kind of. $500 Honda Civic, and it was because I was at home. Some dude came into my dad's body shop and was like, "Hey, blah blah blah, something story about his son doesn't want it anymore. We're just trying to get rid of it. Would you happen to want to buy this for $500?" And my dad just bought it, brought it home, and was like,
Here's your
Here's
car.
your car.
"You owe me $500."
Bet.
No, it was yeah. We'll save.
Mine was my 2011 VW GTI. It was my first car, and it was something where I wanted the Mark 6 generation, so I got a higher mileage one for the same price that I could have got a lower mileage like Mark 5 for. And then, yeah, just saved up and got that.
I started out in the 98 Mustang GT, and it was kind of clapped. And one day my dad just came home with it and was like, here's your first car.
Here's your first headache. Now figure out this
Yeah.
convertible.
Now figure out how to make it stop leaking.
I had one. Oh, go ahead.
That's one thing I think we all connect on, where it's like our first cars were all kind of a surprise. Where it's like
Yeah.
mine was kind of a surprise because my dad kind of surprised it in a way where he went out and got it and kind of surprised me with
Yeah,
it.
I mean, my dad did the same thing.
Yeah.
That's
Yep.
funny. Yeah. Yeah, and yeah.
My
that's
dad
funny.
my
Yeah.
dad sent me a picture in a convertible and says, here you go.
Wow. I can't wait to send a picture of my son to a car. How about that?
Yeah.
Never mind. Who cares?
Okay. You got a question?
I got one that builds off that because it was the second part of the
Let's hear
same
it.
question. What was your first mod? Coilovers for my Genesis.
Light bar.
Oh wait, no.
What?
Bike rack.
A bike rack.
Bike
Nice.
rack.
I can't remember if the light bar or my bike rack was my first.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Bike rack, then shift knob, then coilovers.
Bet.
My first modification was a replacement part was lower control arms because my ball joint broke and dropped my front end
Okay,
of the car.
what
down.
was your
was your
first
first-
mod?
Your fun one.
Of course, a K&N intake.
There
oh,
we go.
yeah.
I didn't get there
God.
until like my 7th mod, dude.
That was the first thing that I did.
Oh yeah.
So I have another question. This next one is real good.
Who's it by?
Premium Christian. Thank
Again.
you, Christian, for providing all the solid questions for the three of us, and thank you for the interest. He asked, "Is there such thing as too much lip?
Yes.
What is it?"
In my opinion, I think anything over, I want to say like 8 is where I start to be like, all right. in reality, it should be like 5. Because in my head, I'm like, anything over 8 is like unnecessary, but also anything over like 2 is unnecessary. So
Yeah.
I think it all depends on what car it's
Yeah.
on too.
Yeah,
I just really don't like seeing 10-inch lips. I don't know why. It just bothers
Or
me.
like the guy saying like more lip the better, and it's like no,
Not always.
not
Yeah.
necessarily.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to see 10-inch lips on a car where I don't know, you can't even see the face anymore.
Yeah.
Because once you have too much lip, especially if you have like let's say step lips, which
Mhm.
like a super wide lip, you can't see the face at all. Which
God, I just feel personally attacked because I have an 8.5-inch lip and a step lip on
are you
my current build.
compensating?
Hey,
Are you compensating?
I have a 7.25 step lip, so don't worry. I have the same problem. I can't
Yeah,
see
mine,
the face.
mine's 7.5 on the rotiforms.
I have a 13-inch wheel on the Genesis, so it's.
Oh yeah.
So mine's
Yeah.
I think we're all between 12 and 13.
Yeah. Which honestly, like my first set of these Yaba King spokes.
But
were,
your stock body.
Yeah. Gang. But
It's horrible, isn't it?
Yeah.
the first set of the Yaba King spokes that I had were 3.5-inch lips, and I almost honestly like the look of that more, just because of the style of the face where it pokes out.
It
you get
flows
to,
better.
You get to
doesn't it?
see that accentuated.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong. I love the
The
deep
super
whatever.
wide look.
Yeah,
just
I
different.
love deep wheels. Don't get me wrong. I think I prefer deep wheels over non-deep wheels. The thing that I hate the most about having a deep wheel is I actually hate having a super wide wheel, because it just makes getting tires so difficult.
Yeah.
And everybody's gonna be like, oh well, this, that, whatever you have to say about getting tires. Try being somewhere, popping your tire, debeating, getting a nail in it whatsoever, and finding a random person or a random shop to work on your car or your wheels, because your homie's 2 hours away or an hour and a half away.
Yeah,
It's
not
not
gonna
fun.
happen.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, I think we're gonna wrap up the questions.
Yeah, I think that was a good amount.
Speaking of things that are too much,
Appreciate y'all sending all those. Shout out y'all.
Yeah, to anybody who we didn't answer the questions or anything like that, sorry. There's only so much time that we could spend. If
we
you
spent
want
an hour.
yeah.
To be
It-
honest, this is already cut down a smidge because we answered way too many.
Yeah.
So
Um,
Tried to
but
do
if
what
you
we
if you
could.
do want us to answer them, just DM us the question. We'll answer them for you if you do really want to know. So moving on from there, I think that moves into our current event that we have for the night.
Yeah, and
it's a good one.
It's
It
not
is a good
even.
one. Ooh,
Speaking of things that are too much,
Yep.
too much.
too much.
What is it?
What
What
exactly
is
do you
it?
mean by that?
A fan favorite for a very long time, and would have brought most of you, potentially, watching this, listening to this, into the car scene, the Fast and Furious saga. Fast
God.
and
So
Furious is
they're
dead.
on number like 97 now, right?
They are currently on Fast and Furious 10, set to debut in 2023.
Really? Oh, I didn't know it was that soon. Cool.
They're pumping these things out quick, dude.
I haven't seen any since 5 because I stopped giving a shit. But I didn't really care about 5. I just went because there was a car meet.
So, okay, what are your guys' genuine opinions about Fast and Furious? And I'm not talking about all the crazy ones now, how
I
they jump
gotcha.
cars through windows and whatnot. I'm talking about starting from the beginning. How did you feel about Fast and Furious?
I
How
love
do you
it.
feel about it now?
Love it,
Yeah.
love it. Like I loved watching it growing up. That really played heavily to me on the kind of street scene of cars. And yeah, I just loved it. And then even as the movies kept periodically getting more kind of actiony and away kind of from the car scene, I still watched it, even though I might have not enjoyed it as much. I still just had to watch it. It's a car related movie, so it's like I still watched it. I still got entertained from it, but I want them to go back to the roots.
Yeah.
If
too.
this is really going to be the last one, which they are dubbing it to be
Oh,
the
really?
last one, yeah,
Fast and Furious 10.
Oh,
Yeah.
I go see it just to lay it in its grave.
which I want it to go play it back to the roots, not cars going into space.
Maybe they
Yeah.
will if it's the last one.
Yeah,
but
so my opinion on Fast and Furious, I loved the initial ones. I was like diehard Fast and Furious fan. I thought they were great. I thought they had so much of the culture, so much research. They brought period correct cars, wheels, graphics, liveries, everything. And it was just so well kind of put together for a car thing, which, you know, and
It was like the
it
first
was
of
the
its
true.
time.
Oh,
Oh
What?
That was like the first of its time kind of, where it's like the car scene
Yeah.
had never been shown in that kind of light,
Yeah.
and that's what made those first couple movies so
well,
cool.
the early 2000s, that was a whole new era when
Yeah.
it came to modifying cars that
Yeah.
nobody's ever seen and nobody's ever really done. So it was something completely new, like the underglow, the wheels, the graphics on the cars,
The
the bright
DVDs.
colors.
The DVD. Yeah.
Just everything was so new and a shock to the system, and then it just blew up and it created what's I would say the tuner scene.
Yeah,
It
definitely,
really did.
definitely. And I think that was like an upcoming trend as those guys, a lot of those guys who helped with the research for that movie were the guys who were like pioneering part of the community at the time period. You know
yeah,
what I'm
for
saying?
like actual street racing,
Actual
and
street
tuner stuff, yeah.
racing and like tuner things. And so it was really cool to see all of that. I was actually, a little disappointed as the movies progressed and they got absolutely ridiculous. I've watched every single one just because, and now me and my friend who are diehard Fast and Furious guys, we watch it together every year when the new one comes out, and we sit there and we laugh and we're like, man, this is getting so far away from what we know and
Like
love.
it's still entertaining, and especially like on the last one where they brought back the main character in
Right.
Tokyo Drift, which that was cool seeing. It's entertaining, but at the same time, it's like I don't want to see armored vehicles flying through cars or
Yeah.
cars shooting
Yeah.
through. Like I want to see
Real car
like
scene.
tuned cars racing each other, this and that, where it's like that's entertaining to me with the whole car scene aspect, not GI Joe armored vehicles, SWAT team, this and that. Like, that's entertaining. That'll get you the overall blockbuster views because people not into cars will be entertained by it. But give me some car stuff, man.
Yeah. I just like the first three. I remember the first time I saw it was peeking through my bedroom when I was supposed to be asleep and watching from a very far distance my brother and my god brother watch Tokyo Drift, and I was like, oh my god, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen. My mom's gonna kill me. But like I feel like those were definitely cool because it was still about the time period. It was all about the cars and the driving themselves and all that kind of stuff. As soon as it went to the brain numbing action movie stuff, I was out. I hate that
Yeah.
shit. I don't like it. I don't
Yep.
want to watch it.
You
Sorry.
know,
Yep.
kind of, I mean, in the same realm of movies like that, Need for Speed themselves, the game, after so long,
Oh,
they
yeah.
finally came out with their movie, and I'm not gonna lie, I loved that movie. I thought
Yeah.
it was great.
I
didn't
never
watch-
saw it.
Me neither.
It was great.
Didn't it have
You guys should
Jesse
watch it.
Pinkman in it?
It had Jesse Pinkman in
really?
it. Yeah.
Anyways, I was gonna go.
I was a Mustang guy, and they featured the Mustang in that one, so I was like,
Oh, no wonder I didn't see
I
it.
might, yeah. I might have to watch that.
watch it. It was a great movie.
I was about to go see number 9 just because some homies were like, "Oh, let's go to the movies and go see it." Why is my chair so loud this episode? Anyways, they were like, "Oh, let's go see it," and I was like, "Okay." I was so down, and then I
You were
watched
so
it.
not.
I watched the trailer right before I left, and I just called him. I was like, I'm not
Sorry.
gonna waste my time on this.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That's just me. You're allowed to like it, blah blah blah, whatever. But I think it's just straight. It's gotten so far away. of
Yeah.
Where it first started.
So
do
we
you
will see. We will see. And,
Hopefully, if they continue on the same pathway of doing crazy action movies, this is the last one. And if they decide to go back to the car community, hey, I'll keep watching them.
Yeah, that would be sick if they did. They went to the moon last one.
No, they didn't actually go to the moon.
They went to space. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying, guys? Just
The next one, time travel, dog. Marty McFly shit.
perfect timing for the re-release of the DeLorean.
Oh,
Ooh.
yeah. So, yeah, that
All right, this has gone too
Yeah,
far.
Too far.
Let's
Okay,
do
we're
this.
done here.
Call-out time.
So, late night call-outs. Let's go. Who's first?
Call-outs.
Yeah, you're first.
I gotta do it every
Yeah,
time.
Okay.
yeah. You just did that. You're going first.
Ah, God dang it.
That's your punishment.
Okay, I want to shout this guy out, man. I keep shouting out people from Japan, and it's because their builds are so awesome, and I pull a lot of my inspiration from there. Makino, I want to say his Makino-san 6013. That's his Instagram handle, and he has this 370Z that has, I want to say a Lamborghini front bumper grafted onto it, a Lamborghini-ish bumper grafted onto it, and this thing is immaculate. The customization when it comes to fitting parts that shouldn't be on your car is just on another level, I feel like, in Japan.
Yeah.
These guys making handmade fiberglass parts that fit, look good, and follow the shapes of the body lines that are just not absurd and horrible to, making your eyes want to bleed when you look at it because they don't fit.
On paper, it shouldn't work.
It shouldn't work.
It shouldn't work,
And
but then it's done.
I hope you guys are looking at this thing on the screen and actually go check it out afterwards. It is just so clean, and the wide body that he forms with it is a molded wide body that has no hardware showing, and it is clean. Fitment is perfect. It is, I want to say it's bagged. If it's static, even better. But yeah, mad shout out to him.
Yeah, that's a really cool scene they have over there. It's like, I feel like that's way bigger. I don't know. That's people grafting different cars onto pre-existing cars is like huge over there.
It's like a thing.
But like well done.
Yeah.
I feel like when you see it here, although I forget his name. There's a guy on TikTok who does it. He made like
5 Miata bumpers in 10 minutes.
no, not that guy, but also that guy. Anyways, but yeah, I think they have a really cool way of doing it out there that like actually looks good. It
Yeah.
doesn't look weird and like hurt your eyes.
Yeah, that's what
You're up next, Steven.
Oh, man. Okay.
Just gotta go in order, dog.
My call out is going to be Corey, Lunch Money Garage. He has a 1927 Dodge Brothers that he really made his own type of build out of, and it's a little backtrack on it. It's a build that I saw way back in terms.
It's Steven. I can see
Steven. Steven, turn your phone off.
It's a car that I saw at like local car meets, and seeing it was like, it was mind-boggling to me, seeing it, like the level of craftsmanship into it and everything. And it's gotten crazier and crazier and crazier, to where now it's an LSX swap twin turbo. He redid the whole front suspension on it. And then how it's controlled. So he is paralyzed waist down, I believe waist down, and he has hand control set up on the interior and everything. And if you look up on YouTube, I believe you could find videos of in kind of interior views of him driving it.
Right.
It's insane because like he has to cross over with his hand to the shifter and whatnot, and
so many different things, and it's just a wild car in general. It's a rat rod.
Interesting.
It really is.
Interesting enough. Sorry, I just want to put this little point in.
Yeah.
When I worked valet, I had to drive a handful of
Hand control cars.
Yeah, they were crazy, and it was honestly like it felt like a video game. It was nuts. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, is it a 500
his
horsepower, 600? It's like something ridiculous too, right?
It's, I think right now where it's like more low boost, it's between 600-700 or something like that. But he wants to push it 1,000 plus. Hand controls, everything. It's just an insane build.
Damn.
It's just an insane build. His craftsmanship into it, like he's the one doing the work into it too. Like he's welding the stuff on the car. He made the suspension for the car. The hands-on work onto it's insane, and he's a really cool dude. So, shout out to Corey on that one.
Shout out to Corey.
Word.
Steven's also a little biased towards Corey.
Yeah, he's my girlfriend's cousin.
Last minute info.
Oh, sorry about that.
All right, so we're gonna go into mine. I found this guy not that long ago, but he seems super cool. Car's super sick, and I love it to death. It's Paul Sack. That's just his name.
Steven, you choking on a little Paul sack?
All right, moving on. He drives a R31. It's like little tiny wheel racer style and some SSRs lowered on some retrofitted S13 suspension. It's just super period correct, super. Honestly, this is like the style that I dream about and like the cars I wish I owned, and instead I somehow always build
The same car?
big wheel. I'm on 20s, dog, and I like 15s. But it's super clean. Yeah.
Who's stopping you from putting 15s on the LC?
Me. and the floor. I'll have a tiny wheel car one day, but for now I'm just you get to admire from afar. But all
Tiny wheel
those
cars are
things.
cool.
Yeah.
It's
I like when your wheels look like spheres. That's the best.
no, I feel like I have 15s on my Mark 1 Rabbit.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's sick.
It's tiny.
Yeah, no,
It's
your
tiny.
car is tiny. Dylan had 15-inch
Yeah.
RSs. Yeah, yeah. But he's got those. Oof.
See,
Oof.
I just like that style. Like,
Yeah.
the small wheel JDM car style.
Yeah.
It's like a thing that you would kind of only see in Japan, and it's a treat that you get to
It
see
is,
it
yeah.
on U.S. streets. You know.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like a lot of people in the JDM scene don't really. They wouldn't do it to their car.
Yeah.
They appreciate it and they like seeing it.
That's me.
But they would never build a car because they would rather build something that is cooler.
Oh, I only build. So the reason I've never built something like this is simply because I have bought newer cars for the one purpose of it needs to be as reliable as possible. Why I go with Lexus, and even the Genesis was like newer.
Yeah.
I originally wanted like S14s and like stuff like that, but in my head I was like, I gotta get to work. So when I have a garage eventually, and I have like a time and
limit.
Time
space,
to buy some
Yeah.
unreliable cars.
yeah, for a
Yeah.
real project, I definitely first thing I'm doing tiny wheel.
Tiny wheel.
Dude, my old. Oh, sorry. I'm not gonna even talk about projects that we want. Sorry.
What?
I was gonna get into something that's gonna make me dive off the deep end.
Okay, maybe next episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, dive off the deep end. Another episode,
I
please.
think all of our brains are compressing into one, so we're gonna head out. Thank you for checking it out. Subscribe on the YouTube channel.
Peace.
Like, comment.
Hit
Let
that
us know
subscribe.
what you like about these episodes.
Hit that bell.
Let us know what you like. If there's any critique you guys want to give, just let us know.
Drop it down in the
DM Tyler or Alex, not me.
Yeah.
Please.
Drop it down in the
Okay.
comments below. Also, again, pre
You could DM me. I don't care.
yeah, post notifications, whatever. Get all the notifications so when we post, it goes straight to your ear holes.
Yeah. What? Okay. We
It's a
gotta go.
podcast.
We gotta
Jesus,
go,
okay.
guys. Later.
Peace.